Angry Sena workers vandalize venue. BMC at Habitat Studio with hammers. Kunal Kamra booked for Shinde joy. Political war of words escalates. Chief Minister Fadnavis slams Kamra's joke. Uddhav Sena defends comedian. Comic Kunal Kamra faces Sena fury.
Comedian Kunal Kamra is in the eye of a storm. This time, a satirical song on Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde has sparked off a massive political war of words. Shiv Sena, the Eknath Shinde faction of the Shiv Sena, they vandalized the comedy club where Kunal Kamra had performed. Later, the comedian was also booked. The Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation, the BMC, was also in action, demolishing the illegal parts of that club, all over a jibe of Gaddar or traitor. Details in this report.
A satirical take on Maharashtra Deputy CM Eknath Shinde has sparked a Maha-war. At the center of it is stand-up comic Kunal Kamra, who referred to Shinde as a traitor, mocking his beginnings as an auto driver. The joke infuriated the Shiv Sena that went on rampage at Mumbai's Habitat Studio. A violent eruption triggered a political face-off, with Maharashtra Chief Minister branding Kunal Kamra as an urban Naxal.
या व्यक्तीला एक प्रकारे कॉन्ट्रोवर्सी तयार करून प्रसिद्धी मिळवण्याचा हव्यास आहे. त्याला अर्बन नक्सल म्हणा, लेफ्ट लिबरल म्हणा, हे सारखेच आहेत की ज्यांचा उद्देश एकच आहे की समाजातल्या मानकांना अपमानित करणं, देशातल्या संस्थांना अपमानित करणं, देशांच्या इन्स्टिट्यूशनवरनं लोकांचा विश्वास उठला पाहिजे अशा प्रकारची वक्तव्य देणं, अशा प्रकारचं काम करणारे जे लोक आहेत यांना कुठल्याही परिस्थितीत सोडता कामा नये. आणि म्हणून या संदर्भात मी सभागृहाला आश्वस्त करतो, कठोरात कठोर कारवाई ही निश्चितपणे केली जाईल.
कुणाल कामरा ने मुझे नहीं लगता कुछ गलत कहा है. गद्दारों को गद्दार करना ये किसी पर हमला करने की बात नहीं है. जो गद्दार है वो गद्दार है. अभिव्यक्ती वगैरे सत्य बोलणं हा अभिव्यक्ती स्वातंत्र्याचा हल्ला होऊ शकत नाही. हे सत्य आहे आणि आम्ही तो उघड बोलतोय की हे गद्दार आहेत. त्याच्यामुळे हा अभिव्यक्ती स्वातंत्र्य आलं कुठे आहे?
Soon the Mumbai civic body was at Kunal Kamra's Comic Act venue.
The demolition of the Habitat Studio is going over there, as we cannot see this because the studio is inside on the first floor. So definitely we have to see that where this Kunal Kamra whole controversy over the comedy goes and where it ends.
The controversy has reignited the debate over free speech and intolerance.
It's very clear based on the language that they have used that they're not comedians, but they are paid agents of UBT. And this despite the fact that Maharashtra and the country have repeatedly rejected these parties for their entitled monarchistic ways. So these people will never learn.
3 तासाच्या इंटरनॅशनल पॉडकास्टमध्ये मोदी साहेबांनी हे पण म्हटलंय की क्रिटिसिझम इज एन इसेन्शियल पार्ट ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी. आणि मग त्यांचे मित्रपक्ष असे वागतात. पण चला हेही एक मिनिट बाजूला ठेवलं तरी नक्की का एकनाथ शिंदेच्या गँगला राग आला आहे? काल त्यांच्या कार्यकर्त्यांनी सिद्ध केलेलं आहे की चोर आणि गद्दार म्हणजे एकनाथ शिंदे आहे.
There is already an FIR against Kunal Kamra and the Mahayuti government has launched a full probe. The stand-up comics, call detail records and bank account details will be scrutinized. The state government is also going to investigate who is behind the satire on Eknath Shinde. With Ritwik Bhalekar and Dipesh Tripathi in Mumbai, Bureau Report, India Today.
So this episode has now ignited a free speech versus urban Naxal debate once again in Maharashtra. But what is the Devendra Fadnavis government doing about this? Divyesh Singh, my colleague, joins me from Mumbai for more on this. Divyesh, while Uddhav Sena and both Uddhav Thackeray and Aditya Thackeray insist this is free speech, a statement of fact is not defamation. But give us more details about why Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis says these are actions of urban Naxals, and what is the strategy that the government has now adopted, including BMC action on the studio?
Well, Gaurav, the video that has come to light, or the satirical video that Kunal Kamra created and shot at the Habitat studio and which is now put on air and which led to this controversy, where he has targeted Deputy CM Eknath Shinde and he has used statements, satirical statements, or some statements where he goes on to defame Eknath Shinde. The FIR which has been registered against him at the MIDC police station mentions sections 353(1), 353(2) and 356, which amounts for creating or promoting, circulating false rumor, false information or rumor through electronic means, causing insult to a person. So these are the sections that have been added. And they've been claiming, or Kunal Kamra has been vocal about it. He's been opposing the government over here. It's been witnessed that he's participated in campaigns of other political parties as well who are in opposition in Maharashtra. So that is why it is suspected, and that is why CM Devendra Fadnavis went on to say that it will be investigated who are the people behind it, who are trying to defame the senior ruling party leaders in Maharashtra, and that is why his accounts will be checked. And we just received information that police might also check the CDR, call detail records of Kunal Kamra, whom he has been in touch with. When he shot this video, was he taking directions from someone? Was it on behest of someone that he created this satirical video? On whose direction he has created this satirical video? Was he being paid for that? So all these things will be investigated. That is what the CM Devendra Fadnavis and his party leaders, Transport Minister Pratap Sarnaik was also at the Bandra court, where the Shiv Sena workers who were arrested for vandalizing or ransacking the Habitat studio last evening, they were produced in court. They were sent to magisterial custody and then released on bail. Pratap Sarnaik was in court. He's the transport minister, and he also went on to say that it seems like a conspiracy which is being run through people like Kunal Kamra, who are targeting specifically senior leaders of this government. So
the question remains, even if Kunal Kamra is being paid, is that illegal? That is something that the government has to figure out. Is it defamation or is it free speech? Because very clearly, Aditya Thackeray says, even Prime Minister Narendra Modi in that international podcast said he's open to criticism. But is Eknath Shinde not open to criticism is the point that is being raised. Stay with me. Let me get to all ends of the spectrum. Let me get you what political parties are saying across the political spectrum. Take a look.
मंत्री आदरणीय एकनाथ जी शिंदे साहब के बारे में अगर गलत सलत कुछ भी कोई गाने के जरिए या अपने जो जबान उनको दी है उसके जरिए अगर गलत सलत कुछ बोलते रहेंगे तो हमारे शिवसैनिक कभी भी माफ करेंगे नहीं किसी को भी।
उसने कविता में कहा, वो तो राजनीतिक विपक्ष दलों के हर नेता मंच पर कह रहे हैं ना, उसने कुछ अलग नहीं कहा, उसने कविता के रूप में कहा। इतनी क्यों लगती है बात? सच्चाई उसने कही, उसमें एक वाक्य नहीं, हर शब्द सही निकला है ना, तो बुरा क्यों लग रहा है?
महाराष्ट्र के सबसे लोकप्रिय मुख्यमंत्री और उप मुख्यमंत्री को आप गद्दार बोलते हैं और फिर कहते हैं कि ये कॉमेडी है। ये कॉमेडी नहीं है, ये वल्गैरिटी है। और कौन है ये कुणाल कामरा, जिनको रेंट किया है, एक पपेट के जैसे इस्तेमाल किया है उबाटा ने, और वहां अपने करतूत को डाइवर्जनरी टैक्टिक्स का इस्तेमाल करने के लिए, चीप पब्लिसिटी के लिए आप इस हद तक जा सकते हैं?
जो समझदार हैं वो समझ गए होंगे। अगर आपको आपत्ति थी, आप एफआईआर दर्ज कर दीजिए। अगर आपको आपत्ति थी, कानून का जो प्रक्रिया है उसका इस्तेमाल करिए। ये जो तोड़फोड़ कर रहे हैं, दिखा रहे हैं कहीं ना कहीं वो उनको चुभा है, उनको पता चला है कि जो बोल रहे हैं, जोक के माध्यम से बोल रहे हैं, उसमें सत्यता है, इसलिए जाकर इन लोगों ने इस तरीके की हमला किया है।
And I want to bring in Devesh once again. Devesh, the political battle lines are very clearly drawn. The controversial comedian himself isn't backing out either. He's waving a copy of the Constitution and saying, one, it's free speech. Two, the Constitution gives him the right to say what he wants to. Despite the FIR, he's not backing out, is he?
Well, yes, Gaurav, as per sources, Mumbai police has also contacted Kunal Kamra, and Kunal Kamra has informed them that he is not in Mumbai right now, he is in some other southern state. He also said that he will completely cooperate with the police. Whenever they call him, he will join investigation, he will cooperate with the investigation regarding the FIR that has been registered. Regarding the apology, he said he is not going to give any kind of apology as of now. But he'll adhere to the legal system, he'll adhere to whatever the court orders, and he'll cooperate with the police investigation. Whenever he is called, he will appear in front of the police. Whenever he is summoned, he'll cooperate with the investigations. Gaurav.
Has he responded, or is there any response even from Shiv Sena UBT on whether they are now hiring, comedians or using other media and mediums to get their point across? Is this a new strategy that they are adopting? Because some of the words, it's not just Gaddar, it's also, just thali mein khaya, usme chhed kiya, and words to that effect, all based on a very popular song from that movie, Dil To Pagal Hai. So when you hear it, it's almost as if it's a campaign that the Shiv Sena UBT has been saying all along, except instead of political leaders, it's now coming from comedians. So is this a new strategy that the Shiv Sena UBT is adopting?
Well, Gaurav, you rightly pointed out many of these words or many of the sentences that Kunal Kamra has used in the satirical video. It looks like it has been lifted from some of the Shiv Sena UBT rallies, which were carried out by the Shiv Sena UBT leaders when Eknath Shinde parted ways from Shiv Sena, and he got the Shiv Sena, the original Shiv Sena party, while Uddhav Thackeray had to launch Shiv Sena UBT, and he got another symbol. And that is when the political lines were drawn, and there were attacks from both the sides. Eknath Shinde also attacked Uddhav Thackeray, stating why he had left Uddhav Thackeray, what was Uddhav Thackeray doing, and he also launched many attacks on the party lines or the how the party was functioning. But now the lines which Kunal Kamra has used are very similar to the lines which have been used by Shiv Sena UBT in their campaigns, in their attacks that they've launched on Eknath Shinde. As you pointed out, that the Thali Mein Khaya and Baap Churaya, these are the lines which have been used in the Shiv Sena UBT campaign also. So it seems like it has been lifted from there and then put to use by Kunal Kamra in this satirical video.
So is that an attempt now to reach out? But how's the government responding? And a big story coming in, and I want our viewers to take a look at the demolition drive that's now been initiated at the venue where Kunal Kamra performed. This is the Habitat Studio in Mumbai. There's a demolition drive that's currently underway. The Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation team is at the stand-up comedy venue. They are saying that they're only demolishing the illegal structures at the Habitat Studio. This is where the images, of course, that you see is Shiv Sena activists. They are carrying out their actions, but the other images are of the demolition drive that is currently underway. So is there clarity, Devesh, on what part of the Habitat Studio was illegal, or what is being targeted as part of this demolition drive, Devesh?
Well, this Habitat Studio, as per BMC sources, was created illegally. There were several sections, walls that have been put up on that particular floor to create studios, and those were illegal. Remember, they were never part of the original blueprint of the building, and these walls were created later by the studio owners, and these were illegal parts. There were several such, there are smaller studios, there are bigger studios which have been created in one single space, which were actually not there as per the blueprint, as per the official plan submitted for the building to the Brihanmumbai Municipal Corporation. And that is why the demolition drive took place. But again, opposition is targeting BMC, questioning the timing of this demolition. There have been files, there have been details regarding illegal construction by Habitat, which has been in public domain for over a year. But now, why now this action, or today this action took place, that is being questioned by the opposition.
Keep tracking that story. I will come back to you for more. Divesh, for the moment, many thanks for joining me. I now want to shift focus to the other big story we're tracking here in India today, and that's the heat mounting on Justice Yashwant Verma of the Delhi High Court after that cash haul at his official residence in the national capital. The images that you see on the left of your screen, there was a fire on the 14th of March at his residence. That's the storeroom, and that is where it is claimed that a large stash of cash was found partially burnt. Those are videos that were taken by the first responders from the Delhi Police and the Delhi Fire Service. Now, a 3-member inquiry panel of judges, they will be probing this unaccounted cash or prima facie the irregularity in the recovery. This after the Supreme Court uploaded reports about what was found in the initial fact-finding mission carried out by the Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court. Now, Justice Verma has since been de-rostered by the High Court and all judicial work has been withdrawn from him. A 3-member High Court panel will probe the unaccounted cash haul recovery. The Justice, meanwhile, Justice Verma has been barred from deleting. He's been directed not to delete anything from his mobile phone, whether it's calls or messages or any communication that took place on his phone in the past 6 months. Justice Verma has denied these allegations. He's denied the cash belonged either to him or any member of his family. Justice Verma said that the storeroom from where those half-burnt wads of cash were recovered, he said he wasn't aware of it. Nothing was shown to him. This was unlocked at all times and accessible to anybody, including the house staff and those who came from outside, like the Central Public Works Department workers. But there are multiple contradictory statements. Authorities say the money was found in a locked storeroom. The cash was in sacks. Rajya Sabha Chairman Jagdeep Dhankar, Vice President of India, met the Leader of the House Jagat Prakash Nadda and Leader of Opposition Mallikarjun Kharge, not just to discuss the cash seizure, but multiple other issues and the road ahead.
We need to understand the legal system is the last door for any common man, and any kind of attack on or any kind of wrongdoing or black spot in the legal system will make the common Indian to lose faith in the system. Therefore, this incident on the note burning incident in the judge's house premises in Delhi shocks all of us, and Supreme Court has taken cognizance about it and appointed a 3-member committee. We want the Honorable Law Minister to make a statement and make a statement here in the Parliament, because Parliament is the supreme body and we should be aware about what the government and the Honorable Supreme Court is doing.
It seemed to be very, very strange. Judges don't have a lot of privacy in their houses. Not only do they have their own staff, the CPWD also, as the inquiry report says, the CPWD has access to all of these buildings as well as their security people. Significantly, when you look at corruption, when you look at Nirav Modi, when you look at Lalit Modi, when you look at any of this, is cash recovered? It's not common. You'll either set up a shell company, send it to the Cayman Islands or something similar, especially if you have legal training. So therefore, I think that there are many questions to be asked.
Cash जैसी चीज, इतनी sensitive चीज, मैं तो नहीं मान सकता कि कोई ऐसे अपने कोई बाहर कोई आउट हाउस में किसी ने बस रख दिया, वहां आग लग गई और बस वो मिल गया। मैं एक मिनट के लिए भी नहीं बोल रहा हूं कि ये व्यक्ति बिल्कुल ही इनोसेंट है या कोई सजा नहीं होनी चाहिए, बिल्कुल नहीं। मैं केवल इतना कह रहा हूं क्योंकि ये सेंसिटिव इशू है, देश का सबसे प्रीमियर हाईकोर्ट के ये जज हैं और बड़े सीनियर मेंबर हैं जुडिशरी के, तो इसको जब तक प्रॉपरली इन्वेस्टिगेट करके पाया नहीं जाता कि सच क्या है, कुछ भी इसमें करना उसके पहले गलत रहेगा।
There are, of course, multiple discrepancies in what Justice Verma has said and what the initial investigation seemed to have revealed. For example, there is one aspect, let's just focus on that. The Honorable Justice has said the cash didn't belong to me and that the storeroom was unlocked and accessible to all. No cash was seized on the spot. The daughter and the secretary alerted the fire services. So this is what Justice Verma is believed to have told the Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court when they met in the guest house of the Delhi High Court. Now, what the authorities are claiming, half-burned wads of cash were recovered. The storeroom, apparently the 70th Battalion of the Central Reserve Police Force, the Foxtrot Company that was deployed to protect Justice Verma, or elements of the 70th Company, 70th Battalion's Foxtrot Company, they said that the storeroom was always kept locked. So that's one discrepancy. The cash was found, or burnt cash was found inside sacks in that storeroom. No call was made to the fire service from the house. The house, we are told, a call was made to the personal secretary, and it was the personal secretary who then called the PCR, and it's the PCR that informed the fire service. That is what we are being told. There's breaking news that's coming in. The Supreme Court Collegium has recommended the repatriation of Justice Yashwant Verma to the Allahabad High Court. This comes amidst protests from the Allahabad High Court Bar Association against the recommendation of the Collegium, against the repatriation of Justice Yashwant Verma to the Allahabad High Court. The Allahabad High Court Bar Association had actually sought impeachment proceedings be initiated against Justice Verma. In fact, that letter from the Bar Association of the Allahabad High Court very clearly said, are we a dustbin? When the Allahabad High Court Bar Association president joined me on India Today, his point was, if Justice Verma is not fit to carry out duties in Delhi according to the Supreme Court Collegium, then why is it that he's fit to carry out duties in Allahabad? Why are we being treated like a dustbin, was the question he posed, not just in that letter but also in that conversation. And I quickly want to cut across to India Today's legal editor Nalini Sharma joining me for more on this. So Nalini, this was, did we get this wrong initially, or was this kabhi haan, kabhi na, or is this completely unlinked? Initially it was said that the Collegium had recommended he be repatriated to the Allahabad High Court. Then it was said that it's not linked to this case, and now we are breaking that he is being repatriated to the Allahabad High Court.
Well, Gaurav, we can confirm that there were two separate meetings of the Collegium members that had happened where this issue regarding Justice Verma was discussed. The first meeting was on the 20th of March, where his issue of transfer, rather repatriation back to the Allahabad High Court was discussed, after which there was source-based information that the Collegium has decided to go ahead with it, but there was no official resolution that was issued by the Collegium in that regard. The Collegium had also clarified that his transfer is separate from the inquiry that's going on, and one does not have anything to do with the other, but it's difficult to believe that, considering that it's all happening at the same time. The second meeting happened today on the 24th of March, after which the Collegium has officially issued its resolution. It has said that Justice Verma will be repatriated back to the Allahabad High Court, which is his parent High Court. Considering that judicial work has already been withdrawn from him in the Delhi High Court, there is a likelihood that even if he is sent back to the Allahabad High Court, he will not immediately be granted any judicial work, at least till the time when the 3-member inquiry panel is still conducting its fact-finding inquiry and determining what were the events of the night of 14th of March when the fire had happened in Justice Verma's residence. Another important aspect that needs to be pointed out over here is that the collegium so far has only recommended his name. Yes, the resolution has been issued, but it's only a recommendation. It will now go to the central government, and the central government will take the final call on whether or not Justice Verma should in fact be sent back to the Allahabad High Court. In case the central government is not on agreement, they can send the file back to the collegium, and the collegium then has a decision to whether reiterate their recommendation or decide on some other mode of action. So it remains to be seen now what happens with the central government, considering the ball is in their court. Will they expedite the repatriation back to the Allahabad High Court, or will they sit on the file for now, at least till the time that the inquiry is going on? So lots to expect in the coming few days.
You know, Nalini, there are multiple questions that are being raised virtually every day ever since the 14th of March incident, of which we got to know only after the 20th of March, on transparency, or whether the collegium system, their decision making is very opaque, whether there needs to be more accountability. And do we know the reason why is he being transferred to Allahabad High Court? Why is it that when no work is being given to him in Delhi, he should be sent to Allahabad? Is it to ensure that there's no interference in any of the investigations in Delhi, or whether he gets work in Allahabad or doesn't get work in Allahabad? Is there clarity on that aspect?
Well, Gaurav, it's best not to speculate at this point, and considering that the collegium has made a clear statement saying that the transfer has nothing to do with the ongoing inquiry. So that is what we are going to take on record, and that's what we are going to stick with at this point. But at the same time, it's important to point out that considering the kind of allegations that have been leveled against Justice Verma, it was crucial that judicial work was taken away from him on an immediate basis, keeping in mind that an inquiry panel has been set up already, and the inquiry panel has still not come up with its report. So it's neither here nor there till the time the inquiry panel does not give the report to the Chief Justice of India. We won't know the facts of what happened on the 14th of March until the inquiry is complete. And remember, it's only a fact-finding inquiry, so there will be no investigation that will be done by the judges, but the judges will formulate what was the chain of events, what were the call data records of Justice Yashwant Verma on the 14th night, who all did he speak to, at what time did he get to know about the fire, who all did he call after the fire had broken out. All of these are very crucial pieces of facts that need to be put together to determine exactly what is it that had gone down on the night of the 14th of March. Because remember, there are also contradictory statements by the authorities themselves, including the Delhi Fire Services chief, who had first said that there was no cash recovered and then had taken a U-turn on his own statement. So all of those things will be analyzed by the 3-member panel that has been set up by the Chief Justice of India. They will submit a report before CJI Khanna, and then it remains to be seen what is the action taken by CJI Khanna. There are a few possibilities. The collegium can ask Justice Yashwant Verma to step down and give in his resignation as a High Court judge in case they find that there is in fact any credible evidence behind all the allegations that are against him. And in case, of course, Justice Verma decides not to resign on his own, then the process of impeachment can happen, which is going to be very interesting to watch out, because remember, in the history of India, Gaurav, not a single judge has been impeached yet. There have been several proposals, but none of the proposals have fully gone through. So what remains to be seen, and the question on everybody's mind today, is will Justice Yashwant Verma, in case the evidence is found against him, will he be the first Indian judge to actually be impeached?
We'll be tracking that story very, very closely. Nalini, for the moment, many thanks for joining me. Let me quickly get you the latest from Nagpur, where authorities are demolishing the illegal part of Nagpur riots accused Fahim Khan's residence. Now, riot accused Fahim Khan's house, at least the illegal part of it. A notice was given yesterday, is what municipal authorities have told reporters on ground. And early this morning, bulldozers arrived there till late in the afternoon. Demolition work was underway. We are told debris are still being removed, and this is the illegal part of the house. This is the Sanjay Park Colony area of Nagpur, where the riots accused Fahim Khan has his residence, and it's only the illegal part of that house that are being demolished according to the municipal authorities. Our ground report gets you more.
तो पुलिस विभाग से पत्र प्राप्त हुआ था और वरिष्ठों के आदेश भी थे। कुछ अनुसंधान से कार्रवाई हो रही है। यहाँ पे जहीरुन्निसा शमीम खान इनकी अवैध यहाँ पे इमारत थी और चूँकि सैंक्शन नहीं था, मैं आपको ये हमने 24 घंटे का नोटिस दिया था MRTP, उस हिसाब से आज कार्रवाई चली।
And we also have Uddhav Thackeray reacting to this. He slammed the double-engine government of Maharashtra. On what basis is this criticism coming? Listen in.
फिर आप गृह मंत्री हो ना, डबल इंजन चल रही है ना सरकार, पूरा देश आपके हाथ में है, महाराष्ट्र आपके हाथ में है, इसके बावजूद नागपुर में दंगा कैसे होता है? हर जगह एक ही न्याय अपना। फिर जिसने दंगा भड़काया उनके ऊपर कार्रवाई क्या करेंगे आप? पूरी जांच करो और जो भी है उसमें गुनहगार।
So the authorities came in early. They had given a notice yesterday. The images that you see on your television screen are of the 17th of March, where the Maharashtra government says that the riots were pre-planned. The rioters got together, they collected incendiary material, and then they targeted particular homes. That is where the police action now follows. They are targeting the rioters. Who are the rioters who came from a particular area and targeted? But those are images that you see on your television screen. We have a ground report from there where India Today reporters are reporting on how this double-storied structure, the illegal portion of it, which is built illegally, this is the Sanjay Bagh colony area, and the illegal part of it is being demolished. Now, before I get you more on the story, who is Fahim Khan? Fahim Khan, let me tell you a little more about him. He's the mastermind of the riots, according to the Maharashtra police. He's the one who collected the mob. According to the Maharashtra police, he's the one. He's the local political leader in Maharashtra. He's contested elections, including the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. He's the Nagpur city chief of a party called the Minorities Democratic Party. He contested the 2024 Lok Sabha elections against Nitin Gadkari and he lost. He's a resident of that same Sanjay Bagh colony of Nagpur's Yashodhara Nagar. According to the Maharashtra police, they have evidence to suggest he delivered a provocative speech just before the clashes. He's the one who got the alleged rioters together. Police as of now are investigating whether he had a role to play in social media posts, mobilized a crowd outside a police station. His supporters are alleged to have or believed to have chanted pro-Aurangzeb slogans, alleged to have spread rumors about a holy cloth being burnt at Aurangzeb's tomb. And this led to a lot of violence. Now, before I get you more on the story, listen into how Fahim Khan, whose house was being demolished or the illegal part of it, is alleged to have stoked the violence. Listen in.
ठीक है, प्रदर्शन करना किसी के खिलाफ आपका संवैधानिक अधिकार है, लेकिन मुसलमानों की कलमे की चादर को जलाना ये कहाँ की बात हुई? वहाँ पर जो है कलमे की चादर को जलाई गई, जिसमें हमारे कुछ बंदों ने जाके विरोध किया और उसके बाद में प्रकरण सामने आया और पुलिस वालों ने लाठीचार्ज सिर्फ एक पक्ष के ऊपर किया, जबकि वो शांतिपूर्वक ढंग से वहाँ बैठकर सिर्फ ये डिमांड रख रहे थे कि जिन्होंने कलमे की चादर जलाई उनको अरेस्ट करो और उनको लेकर आओ।
And India Today's Yogesh Pandey was on ground zero. He sent us this report.
नागपुर महानगर पालिका की अतिक्रमण विभाग की ओर से नागपुर के संजय बाग स्थित इसी 2 मंजिला इमारत पर बुलडोजर कार्रवाई की जा रही है। नागपुर के संजय बाग कॉलोनी स्थित यही नागपुर हिंसा मामले का मास्टरमाइंड माना जाने वाला फहीम शमीम खान का 2 मंजिला इमारत था, जिसे बुलडोजर की मदद से, JCB की मदद से पूरी तरह जो है वो ध्वस्त किया गया है। दरअसल 900 स्क्वायर फीट में बना हुआ यह मकान जो है उसे पूरी तरह तोड़ दिया गया है। हम तस्वीरों में साफ देख सकते हैं तोड़ने की प्रक्रिया जो है वो इस समय यहाँ चल रही है। लगातार यहाँ देख सकते हैं हम कार्रवाई हो रही है। श्री देवेंद्र फडणवीस ने 2 दिन पहले नागपुर में साफ किया था कि अगर जरूरत पड़ी तो दंगाइयों के घर पर बुलडोजर एक्शन हो सकता है। ठीक वही एक्शन नागपुर हिंसा मामले का मास्टरमाइंड फहीम खान के घर पर यहाँ हो रही है।
And India Today's Ritwik Bhalekar now joins me for more on the story. Ritwik, the demolition that's taking place at Fahim Khan's residence, on what basis is this demolition being carried out? What more do we know about what civic authority officials have said about Fahim Khan, and is he the only one, or is there a longer list that they have?
See, the questions are being raised over the demolition drive which is carried after Nagpur violence on the double-storied building, which is an alleged illegal structure, is what is claimed by Nagpur Municipal Corporation. Nagpur Municipal Corporation officials are saying that they received official complaint against this illegal structure on March 20, and on March 21 they served a notice to Fahim Khan's family demanding to comply with the notice, but as the family failed to comply, now the demolition drive has begun, and they have just completed it after 5 hours of the demolition drive, raising the whole structure and alleging that there are many such illegal structures in the area, which is on the hit list and the target of Nagpur Municipal Corporation now.
So there are many such structures, but why is it that the authorities thought of this demolition drive only after the riots? Was it planned earlier in this instance and in other instances, or is there a message that is being sent out?
Exactly, that's the point which is being raised by Opposition Alliance, and especially Uddhav Thackeray today in the ongoing Maharashtra budget session. He was comparing this demolition drive with the demolition drive which BMC conducted today on Kunal Kamra's studio in Mumbai at Khar. He was asking whether the houses of those will also be demolished who made provocative statements which incited violence and violent clashes in Nagpur earlier in yesterday's incident. By the same time, now what officials are saying that under the MRTP Act, they found that the structures are illegal. They received official complaints, and on the base of those complaints, they have initiated the action, and many such illegal structures are on radar now.
Keep tracking that story. I will come back to you for more. Ritwik Bhalekar, for the moment, many thanks. Shifting focus to Patiala in Punjab, the family of Colonel Pushpinder Singh Bath, who was assaulted by the Punjab police, staged a dharna outside the Deputy Commissioner's office in Patiala. Now, this is a decorated officer. His father was also in the army and commanding officer. He is said to be a 5th generation officer, and he was assaulted by the Punjab police outside a dhaba. This incident took place on the night intervening March 13th and 14th. Colonel Bath and his son were at a roadside eatery near Government Rajendra Hospital in Patiala. The family said when the two were standing outside their car and having food, some police officials in civil clothes, in plain clothes, they approached them and asked the colonel to move his vehicle so that they could park theirs. This led to an altercation, and Colonel Bath, a serving army officer in army headquarters on deputation with cabinet secretariat, his 24-year-old son, they were assaulted by at least, according to his wife, 12 members of the Punjab police that included 4 inspectors. Now, Patiala District Commissioner met the protesters and persuaded them to call off the agitation. He said, I assure you that a fair investigation will be carried out. However, Colonel Bath's skin refused to lift the sit-in.
मेरी डिमांड ऐसी है, सीबीआई इंक्वायरी से पहले हम नहीं जाएंगे। एसएसपी नानक को इधर से इमीडिएट पोस्टिंग ऑर्डर आए। दूसरी बात, एसएसपी नानक सारे सस्पेंड किए ऑफिसर्स के के नाम, अफसर नहीं गुंडों के नाम, अफसर कहने लायक तो वो है ही नहीं, गुंडों के नाम मीडिया में आके बोले और बताएं कि ये 12 अफसर हमने सस्पेंड करे हैं FIR के बेसिस में और इनको अरेस्ट करें और उसके बाद एसएसपी नानक को यहाँ से बाहर निकाला जाए, क्योंकि एसएसपी नानक इधर रहे तो कुछ ना कुछ मेरे अगेंस्ट और मेरी फैमिली को कहीं ना कहीं चोट पहुंचा सकते हैं।
Speaking on a personal note, I come from an army background. So I am son of an army officer. I have grown up in army cantonments. I have studied in central schools. So I have immense respect for the army. What happened was unfortunate, and we would take appropriate action. At the same time, I would also like to say that I am immensely proud of the khaki uniform I am wearing. पंजाब पुलिस एक बहुत बहादुर जांबाज दलेर फोर्स है जिसने फौज ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੈਂਟਰਲ ਪੈਰਾਮਿਲਟਰੀ ਫੋਰਸਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅੱਤਵਾਦ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਖਾਤਮਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ। ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਗੁਜ਼ਾਰਿਸ਼ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ ਕਿ ਇਟ ਇਜ਼ ਐਨ ਐਬਰੇਸ਼ਨ। So let us not make it out as an battle of institutions or army versus police or anything. So we have immense respect for the army. So law will take its own course in the matter.
So DGP Punjab Gaurav Yadav concedes it's an aberration. But if an aberration has happened, what action is being taken against the accused? And as Jaswinder Kaur Bath, the wife of that army officer, alleges that some officers are being shielded, is there merit in that contention? I want to quickly cut across and bring in Jaswinder Kaur Bath, who joins me on the broadcast. She is a part of this sit-in. Madam, police have registered an FIR. Why are you not satisfied with the FIR? आप अभी भी धरने पर क्यों है, मैम?
जी, पुलिस ने 10 दिन बाद FIR दर्ज किया। 8वें दिन जाके FIR दर्ज किया। पहले एक झूठा FIR दर्ज कर दिया जिसको हमें गुमराह करती रही। SSP नानक ने मुझे इतना गुमराह किया, इतना हैरेसमेंट किया है कि मैं आपको बता नहीं सकती। 2 दिन पहले ये किसान आंदोलन का और मोर्चाओं, ये संगठियों का सबका प्रेशर और मीडिया का प्रेशर के बाद उन्होंने FIR दर्ज कर दी। FIR दर्ज करने के बाद भी हमें ये भी नहीं पता था कि कौन से 12 बंदे सस्पेंड किए गए हैं। उनमें से एक जो मेन SHO था उसका नाम ही नहीं डाला गया, जो क्योंकि वो SSP साहब के राइट हैंड मैन थे। SSP साहब बहुत गेम्स खेल रहे हैं और हमारे को सबको आई वॉश कर रहे हैं। अब इन्होंने ऐसा सिट बिठाई है, बोला सिट जो है वो तो पंजाब पुलिस के ऑफिसर्स की ही बैठी है। वो जो सिट में जो अधिकारी हैं वो भी SSP नानक के कोर्समेट और उनके साथ सर्व करे हुए हैं। वहां से हमें कोई जस्टिस नहीं मिलेगी।
So is that why you are seeking a CBI investigation in this case? You have no faith in Punjab police investigations because we are told that the magisterial inquiry has now been ordered.
पंजाब पुलिस जब देखिए 8 दिन बाद जो बंदा फर्स्ट FIR का मतलब होता है फर्स्ट पर्सन हु रिपोर्ट्स द इंसिडेंट। वी हैड रिपोर्टेड द इंसिडेंट एट 2 o'clock at night to the police to come and help us out, but they did not take any action. SSP नानक ने मुझे एक मतलब लेडी को, मैंने उनको बोला भी कि मैं रात के जो कपड़े पहन के सोई थी उसमें घूम रही हूँ पूरा दिन। मुझे एक पुलिस स्टेशन से दूसरे पुलिस स्टेशन उन्होंने इतना हैरेस किया कि वो चाहते थे कि किसी तरीके से हैरेसमेंट में मैं पीछे हट जाऊं। मगर मैं भी एक फौजी की बीवी हूँ। मैं अगर मेरा पति बॉर्डर से पीछे नहीं हटा तो मैं भी इस लड़ाई से पीछे नहीं हटूंगी। मेरी कोई ऐसी दरख्वास्त नहीं है। एक SSP नानक जिन्होंने पूरे दहशत फैलाई हुई है, उनके केस चल रहे हैं हाई कोर्ट में, ऑन्कोलॉजी डॉक्टर।
Ma'am, if I were to stay on this current issue, if I were to stay just on the current issue for a moment, your husband is a serving army colonel. It was alleged that he was under the influence of liquor at the dhaba. Of course, I'm told those charges were found false after the medical test. But is it true that you're under pressure for a compromise and not to pursue this case? कि आप किसी तरह ये मामले को रफा दफा कर दें, वो सॉरी बोल दें और आप इसको भूल जाएं?
Okay, that's okay. But I'm saying is पूरी जनता उनसे दुखी है पटियाला की। बट मेरे को तो उन्होंने इतना हैरेस किया है कि आई डोंट नो वेयर मतलब कहाँ कहाँ उन्होंने मुझे आधी रात को 1 बजे तक एक थाने से दूसरे थाने में घुमाते रहे कि मैं अरेस्ट करके पीछे हो जाऊं। बाद में मुझे बोला FIR होगी, आप उधर पुलिस स्टेशन जाके FIR ले लीजिए। और जब मैं वहां गई तो कहते हैं FIR की कॉपी आपको नहीं मिल सकती क्योंकि FIR तो किसी और के नाम पे हुई है। जब मेरा हस्बैंड विक्टिम है, मेरा बेटा विक्टिम है, तो FIR मेरे बेटे के नाम ना करके ढाबे वाले के नाम कर दी। वही ढाबा वाला है जिसने मुझे सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन दी और वो कल मेरे साथ था। वो उसको धमकाया गया, क्या किया गया मुझे पता नहीं, बट वो FIR उसने कराई, उसके नाम से करी। जब विक्टिम था जिसने फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट दी है उसके नाम से कोई FIR नहीं हुई थी। 7 दिन लग गए। जब गवर्नर साहब के पास मैं गई, उन्होंने DG साहब को फोन किया कि FIR मेरे जो विक्टिम है उनका हक है। उसके बाद नेक्स्ट डे पुलिस आर्मी ने भी प्रेशर किया, तब जाके FIR हुई। 12 बंदे सस्पेंड करे, 7 दिन हो गए सस्पेंड को, हमें पता नहीं था। जब पता चला कि जो एक कॉपी दी गई, हमारे को तो कॉपी भी नहीं दी गई। जब हमें पता चला तो कि वो जो इंस्पेक्टर शमिंदर है जो इन्वॉल्व था इसमें, उसका नाम ही नहीं डाला सस्पेंशन में, तब हमने फिर रेज द वॉइस करी।
Okay, ma'am, what I want to understand from you, what are your demands at this stage? What is it that you are seeking? Because I'm told you live in Patiala, your son stays in Patiala, and certain comments have been made by the police about your stay in Patiala.
बहुत जी, मैं तो उनके पुलिस स्टेशन जब FIR लेने गई थी, उन्होंने ये सारे जो इन्वॉल्व थे इसमें उनको पुलिस स्टेशन बुला के मुझे माफ़ी बोला कि पैर छू के माफ़ी मांग लो और कि आपको छोड़ देंगे। मैंने उनको बोला कि मैं इनको मेरी नज़रों से दूर कर दो, मैं इनको माफ़ नहीं कर सकती। उसके बाद भी इन्होंने मुझे, जब मैंने उनको बोला इनको बाहर निकाल दो और मैंने उनको बाहर निकलने बोला, तो जाते जाते हरजिंदर सिंह ढिल्लों और भोपा राय कहता है तुमने भी पटियाला रहना और हमने भी, अभी तो माफ़ी मांग रहे हैं, बाद में बताएंगे। गुंडागर्दी वहां पुलिस स्टेशन के अंदर मेरे साथ हुई और जिसको मैंने SSP साहब को बोला फिर भी एक्शन नहीं लिया। मेरे पास पूरी उनकी अपोलॉजीज के वीडियो थे जो मैंने SSP साहब को दिखा दिए थे। उनकी सारे क्राइम की वीडियोस और उनका सारे एक्सेप्टेंस सब दिखाने के बावजूद भी SSP साहब ने कोई एक्शन नहीं लिया और उनकी सस्पेंशन भी नहीं करी। उसके बाद प्रेशर आके सस्पेंशन करी, फिर FIR झूठी कर दी। उसके बाद अब जो सिट है, सिट बैठी है, सिट बोल रहे हैं, सिट में वही पुलिस ऑफिस अधिकारी हैं, तो मुझे क्या मिलेगा जस्टिस, आई डोंट नो। CBI एक मैं इसलिए जांच कह रही हूँ क्योंकि एक वो न्यूट्रल होएगी, जो ना पंजाब पुलिस, ना हरियाणा, ना हमारी, ना आपकी, वो एक न्यूट्रल जांच होगी जिसमें जो भी गुनाहगार होगा, अगर मेरा हस्बैंड गुनहगार है तो उसको भी उससे डबल सजा मिलनी चाहिए। दूसरी बात, रात को 6:30 बजे ड्यूटी से निकलने के बाद मेरे हस्बैंड और मेरा बेटा पटियाला आ रहे थे, बोनट के ऊपर दारू रख के पीना। कोई एक DIG के ऑलमोस्ट रैंक के ऑफिसर है, आपको लगता है कोई भी ऑफिसर मैगी और ये एक प्लेट मैगी के साथ दारू पिएंगे? वहीं पर मिला था उनको दारू पीना। और दूसरी बात, उन्होंने बोला कि मेरे बेटे ने पहले उनको मुक्का मारा, तो उनसे ये पूछा जाए अगर मेरे बेटे ने उनको मुक्का मारा था तो उन्होंने मेरे हस्बैंड को क्यों पीटा? दूसरी बात, अगर मेरे बेटे और हस्बैंड दारू पी रहे थे तो उन्होंने फोटो खींचनी थी और उनका चालान काटना था और पुलिस स्टेशन भेज देना था। उनका क्या हक बनता था कि एक जनता को इतना मारना कि बंदा बेहोश होके मरने की हालत में छोड़ के चले जाना? या क्या ये यूनिफॉर्म का हक है कि आप ऐसे सिविल के में किसी को पीट सकते हो? अगर मेरे बेटे ने, वो कहते हैं पहले मुक्का मारा, तो उसको उठा के क्या 12 जाने जब उनको पीट सकते हैं तो उठा के पुलिस स्टेशन ले जाते।
So very clearly, a lady continues to fight for justice. Mrs. Bath, for joining me here on India Today. Many thanks. We will track developments on this story. For the moment, I want to shift focus to US and Russian officials who are having their discussions in Saudi Arabia regarding a partial ceasefire in Ukraine. Now, this after separate talks between Washington, D.C. and Kiev a day earlier. So, US and Russia talks on Ukraine ceasefire, they started in Riyadh. US President Donald Trump is pushing for a swift resolution to the 3-year-old conflict and hopes negotiations in Saudi Arabia will lead to some breakthrough. Both sides have put forward certain proposals for what the truce should look like, what the temporary truce will be like, though cross-border attacks continue without interruption. I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan for more on this. Geeta, what more can we expect in terms of a timeline for a ceasefire? Is there common meeting ground between Russia and Ukraine that US can mediate now?
Well, there are many aspects that are being discussed, primarily for Russia and the United States of America. The focus is on the Black Sea corridor and trying to get a trade restarted in that corridor, safe and secure passageway. That's a very important conversation that Russia is having. But yes, they are looking at various aspects of truce and ceasefire between the two countries. This even as we're looking at an escalation at on the front lines between Russia and Ukraine. Gaurav, the Ukrainian officials had met with U.S. authorities on Sunday, and today it's the Russian officials who are meeting. We're told that Leshchenko, with his delegation, is still in Riyadh to have more rounds of meetings and talks with the United States of America. So yes, they're going to iron out what really looks like or could look like a peace deal or a ceasefire deal between the two countries. What will the nitty-gritties of that deal really be is something we'll have to wait and see.
Keep tracking that story, Geeta. I will come back to you for more.